Hi, and welcome back to RealiTEAna with your host, Tina. So, I'm back with the breakdown of Love is Blind Season 7, Episode 2. And I just want to start off by saying that there will be some spoilers. So, if you haven't watched the episode yet, or if you haven't watched it in its entirety, then don't watch this just yet. Come back after. I also want to start off by saying that this episode, I wouldn't say it was dry, but if it was like a regular series, I would say that this was like a character development episode. So, yeah, there wasn't any like real drama or any like gasp moments. There was a lot of sentimental and like touching things that like were really touching for me. But yeah, it was like just mainly like character development. So, let's start off with the couple. So Tyler and Ashley A, as I said in the previous episode or previous breakdown. As I said on the breakdown of the previous episode, they already established that they were like girlfriend and boyfriend. So at this point, they seem to be very locked in. I think that in the next episode, and episode 3, he's gonna propose definitely then. Cause like, what else is he waiting for at this point? Like he already said the L word, as everyone says. They are giggling up a storm. They are sharing things. So yeah, just it's just a matter of them proposing at this point. So I can't wait because they seem like they are, I don't want to say in love, but they seem to really like each other. So let's see how that is. And again, for me, all of this is like, okay, yeah. But I'm always like, okay, when you'll really be able to tell their personalities and how well they'll mesh together after they're out of the pods. And I think that's just that's just like how it is. That's just human nature because, until you really see the person and you see them physically, it's hard to really gauge because, as they keep saying, falling in love, sight unseen. It's easy to fall in love with someone's personality. And especially when you're not seeing them, you're not interacting with them, you're not living with them. Well, that's when the real test comes into play. So for now, I don't really have any real like, this person's like this person like this in terms of how they mesh as a couple because everyone's all still kind of, I don't want to say reserved, but like, yeah, let's just wait until it gets to that point. And then Tim and Alex, oh no, it was with Tyler and Ashley. No, okay, yes. So Tim and Alex is next. So it's Tim and Alex, where Tim really like started speaking about his childhood. He got very emotional, and that for me was also very touching. And I think a lot of the cast members have kind of shared a little bit more about them. Things that have just been very very touching. There was another cast member. Is that Bodan? And I know he shared about his experience about leaving and going to the war in Ukraine and how his coworkers and stuff supported that, and even something like that. I was just like, wow, like that is crazy. Like that is a crazy story. It's a very emotional story. It for me even I was just like, wow. So yeah, there's been a lot of that. So again, to me it just shows that people are, number one, human, and number two, that there's people like they're dealing with real life things, right? So that was a very very touching story as well from that cast member. There were a couple other cast members too, like I know Monica and, oh my gosh, and then there was the other girl, but I don't know if they're gonna make it out of the pause. Like they didn't really, the fact that they didn't show them in the first episode, they kind of just gave you glimpses here and there. I guess we'll see. I'll wait till episode 3 before I kind of talk on them further because I really want to see where it's gonna go. I mean, the fact that I don't remember their names, oh my god, that's not good. That's not good. And then, okay, oh my gosh, who do I do next? So I spoke about Tim and Alex. Yeah, so he shared about his childhood and about his sisters passing away. And the one thing that he said that really resonated with me is that he said that he has the opportunity to give his parents another daughter, like one more daughter. And I was like, my goodness. So, I mean, whether it does end up being Alex or somebody else in the future, whatever woman that he does bring home, I'm sure she's going to be welcomed with like so much love and just spoiled with love from his parents. So, yeah, I'm actually interested to see. I mean, at this point, they seem to be pretty locked in. I'm I'm pretty certain that he's gonna propose. So for that couple specifically, I want to see the interaction between Alex and his family, because I think that's gonna be a very emotional moment, especially if as things progress, we can tell that he really does care for her, and, dare I use the word love, really loves her, and his family is able to feel that. I think it's going to be a very, very emotional meeting. So I'm interested to see that as well. Um, okay, and then who do I do next? Okay, let's just go to Garnett and Taylor. So in my previous breakdown, I was just saying how, they were both kind of hyper fixated on the ethnicity of Taylor, and how I wasn't sure if they're going to be able to get over it. Like it seemed like they did in episode 1. But then even in episode 2, it kind of kept coming up. But then they had their little cutesy moment where he like gave her the flowers and she gave him the box of letters. And I was like, wow. Like, so I'm not surprised that he proposed. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they react when they see each other. More so him, because I know in his head he's just wondering what her ethnicity is and what she looks like. So yeah, I mean, like I said in the previous breakdown, I don't think that it's going to be enough for him to be like, oh my goodness, like, but it'll be interesting. It will be interesting, and how she responds to him, like how he looks physically, like, it's gonna be very interesting. So I can't wait to start episode 3 to see that. Because at least we have one down, and I know they usually go for like 5 to 6, so we'll see who else comes out of it. And then the triangle, square, whatever it is now, of Nick D, Hannah, Leo, and Brittany. So yeah, that's a square. Yeah, I don't know, because you see, I said it in the previous breakdown that if she doesn't get Leo, I feel like she will go back to Nick. And now where it seems like it's because now she knows that Leo is dating somebody else, I'm not gonna say she went back to Nick, but she did have that conversation, and she was like, oh, I still would like to keep talking. And I'm just like, you said no. You got to stick with it. But again, it is what it is, because I just had a feeling. And naturally, when you have options, if one says no, you kind of lean on your other options, or I guess you go back to options that you had said no to in the past. So for this little square, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because technically everyone could go home with somebody. Like Nick and Hannah could, go off together, and then Leo and Brittany could go off together. But we'll see. And I feel like this is just, Netflix and the show just kind of trying to not make everything so obvious and leave us wondering a little bit, and a little bit of suspense. But as I said in the last breakdown, if Leo ends up with Brittany, she's already stated very clearly what she is expecting in a relationship and how she's expected to be treated in a relationship. So she laid it all out. So he can't even act surprised. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there if the two of them do choose each other. And then with Nick and Hannah, you could already tell that she's a little bit insecure about her looks. Oh yeah, and he's an athlete, or he was an athlete. So she does keep bringing that up. And I feel like he's kind of picked up on it a little bit. So that might be a little bit concerning to him. So we'll see what happens, especially when they leave the pods, because it's happened in previous seasons where people have needed a lot of reassuring, and it just hasn't worked out in that way, right? So that's another one that I'm kind of interested to see, if the two of them end up together, how it works outside of the pods, because I feel like she is a little insecure, and she is going to say she needs a lot of reassuring, but even him reassuring might not be enough, because there'll still be that doubt where, are you just saying this because that's what you think you're supposed to say and not how you feel? So we will see how that plays out. So yeah, I guess that's all the kind of formed couples for now. Like I said, there's a couple more that are in limbo. I don't know if they're gonna make it out the pods or not. Like, we'll see what happens, because I know Ramsey's had talking to a few people, and yeah, we'll see what kind of happens. So yeah, I'll leave this here. because I'm excited to go and start episode 3, to come back and report back on episode 3. Leave your comments below. Let's start a discussion. Like, let me know what you think. If you're further than episode 2, don't drop any spoilers in the comments, okay? Just wait for the rest of us to catch up. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in episode 3. I am anticipating that there is going to be 2 more proposals. So let's see if that does happen. So then we'll be at 3 in total. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.